Hello everyone, this is Priyasha Das from XAT, and in this video we'll be discussing about a decision making note making strategy. So I know I've been talking about this in many videos before, but this is one live demo in which I would be showing you how I used to make notes and prepare a list of scenarios from all the PYQs, and then trust me, almost 80% comes from within this scenario only. Either the names are changed or the conditions are changed. Okay, a business from bakery to dosa will change, but then things will almost remain the same. So let's have a quick look on how to make notes over here. Very essential. So we will be starting off with an example from the year 2018 question paper. Okay, so you guys can just pause the video and read the scenario. It's a small scenario. Now, please understand, I never knew this before I entered XLRI, that these kind of DM sets are nothing but very consolidated and small case studies given to you. Currently, we are solving 16 pages case studies, but then the reality is that if you consolidate it into one paragraph, it's still possible, and so is what they are giving you in these DM sets. Okay, so this is a 2018 paper. And what is the condition here? So how I was supposed to make notes over here is I just found out what the overall scenario is. So the overall scenario here is that out of the three companies, two companies are loss making and one company is profit making. And there is a transition here. So my general thing is one out of three is profit and two out of three is loss. So this is how I make notes over here. The overall scenario of the case. Okay. Now, when we are talking about the people, then we understand that Sudarshan is the owner and he is having a CEO whose name is Chaganlal Jha. And then he has three different companies who has been headed by three different managers. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's a general scenario. Now, when we come to a question, we come to a real time, case or real time scenario. So the first question is saying us that 2 years after handing over Sudarshan was concerned that none of the companies except one was profitable. So which of the following information, if true, would be most likely reduce Sudarshan's concern? Sudarshan's concern was what? Remember that concern was that one out of three is profit and two out of three are loss. So what will reduce the concern will be my answer, not what will increase the concern. Why am I focusing that? Because this is very easy, very easy to eliminate one, two options based on that fact. Okay, so that's why. And I'll also tell you what my professor has told regarding this decision making. This has been a 1 week regular activity which I do and rigorous activity which I did, that I constantly went and asked him how to solve DMs. I need a simple solution. And he was like, ask your YouTube mates to use common sense. And I was like, no, sir, this is not an answer, please. How to use common sense is the question. Like, how will we apply this? So after like 1 week of constantly going and visiting him and asking him the same thing again and again and again, finally he told me something which definitely will make your life easier. So we'll do that also with what I did earlier. Okay. So the first thing which I do is I make a problem statement. So this is your scenario one. Let's say the question number one is your scenario one, and you will write down the problem over here. I used to make notes like this. What is the problem in this question? This is the problem in this question. One out of three is profit and two out of three is loss. This is my problem. Remember that all the alternatives are your options. Okay, the alternative solutions provided is already provided to you by the question. You have to select the optimum solution. So you can go through the question, okay, and find out the optimum solution over here. But remember one thing, that while making notes, it's not always necessary that you go by your way. Once you have done it by yourself, go and check the answer and then start making notes. Probably that will help you more. So suppose if you got the answer as B, but the answer is not as B, the answer is something else. Let's say the answer is A. To be like very simple, I'll just do that. I saw that the answer is A. Now I'll start making notes for A. How? I will tell you that. Okay, so alternatives are already given to you in the question. What you have to do is make an optimal solution, and for that you have to start eliminating the options. So let's read the first option. The first approach, this is what my professor told, so you guys can also adopt it. The first approach is try finding everything positive in all the five options. try searching or looking at the positive side or the positive ends provided in the options. Like option A says that a leading financial institute recently advised its investors to purchase the shares of the two loss-making companies of Sudarshan with a very long-term outlook, and this will really help Sudarshan's concerns to be reduced. Exactly. If someone is ready to buy your two loss-making companies, this would certainly release the tension in your head, right? So of course it's good, good in many respects. So I started finding the good things in option A. I got it. Option B, the corporation's performance was stagnant for 3 years before it was handed over to the professionals, is not something which will reduce the concern, but something which will increase it. So this is opposite in direction, and something which is going opposite in direction than what you need can be easily eliminated. So here comes the reason. You are not able to find anything good in this option B, and hence you eliminate it. Option C, the best performing division belongs to an industry which is growing in double digits. Now you will say that, okay, we can actually think good about it because one of the industries is performing good. And what if the scenario comes in where that one industry itself compensates for the loss of the two? But are there any quantifications? Are there any numbers justifying that, or even a statement justifying that one of the industries is profiting so much that it will compensate the other? If they would have written this complete sentence, of course, this would have reduced the tension of Sudarshan, but they have not provided the complete information. And there is incomplete information over here. Oh my God, I shouldn't have written it over here, right? Because this is a problem and I was supposed to find the good things in it. So there was less good thing, but I also identified a problem in option C. Option D, people holding senior positions have been replaced 2 years ago by fresh young talent is out of scope. I have already explained you in my old videos how you can eliminate these kind of options. It is going out of scope and not related to the present concerns of Sudarshan, so not my answer. And option E, the rate at which the employees are leaving the best performing division is higher than the industry average, is increasing my concern and therefore going in the opposite direction. So B, C, D, and E are easily eliminated during the process of searching good things in the options, and now I'm left with only two options. Now, as my professor says, that if you are left with very close two options, the best way is to start finding faults now. So if I go to back to A and start finding faults with A, I literally don't get any fault. The only hypothetical fault I can find out is that, okay, someone is buying my companies. I might not be able to acquire it back. But at the present situation, if I see that something is loss making and someone is coming to purchase that loss making company, it's more than enough for me, to be very honest. So I literally cannot find out lots of bad things about A, but one bad thing which I already pointed out in option C was that information is incomplete. If they would have mentioned it straightforwardly that one industry's profit can compensate the loss of the others, then I would have been in less tension. So therefore, my answer is option A. Now, whatever I discussed right now, I don't have space to write it down, but you can write it down either in the form of keywords or in the form of sentences, and that will help you to come to a business solution. That what is the solution? That the investors are purchasing your loss-making companies. Okay, that's all. That's how you will make a complete note out of it. What was the problem, the solutions, how you eliminated them, and what was the answer. This is the apt solution for a condition where one of your industries is profit making and two others are loss making. This is scenario one. If I'll directly jump to question number two, now the question number two will provide me a scenario number two, guys. So let's quickly have a look over it. Some of the senior employees who left Lal and Sons in the recent past have complained to Sudarshan that the long cherished values of the organization, like respect for elders and job security, have been compromised. Which of the following options, if true, will indicate to Sudarshan that the employees are misleading him? If I am searching for something which is leading to the fact that the employees, what they said right now, is misleading Sudarshan, that means that whatever these people told are wrong. What these people told, that job security is not there and respect for the elders is not there. But I need a sentence which will state that there is no such thing. There is ample respect or there is a ample job security. So this is my hypothetical answer which I make in my mind, okay, and I'll start searching for it. And as my first approach, as I told, I will start searching good things in the options. But remember, always note down what your problem is. So what is my problem over here? My problem over here is job security and no respect for elders. Okay. And once I make a note problem, alternatives are definitely my answer. So I'll start eliminating it from this section and come to an optimum solution. So option A, let's read that. The replaced employees have been average performers for many years. Tell me one thing. The performance is not talking about, or the replaced employees are not being mentioned here. It's not being mentioned here that whether they are seniors or whether they are non-C freshers. Now, see, this is normal human tendency. If you can see what I'm doing right now, it's wrong. What I went forward with was I went forward with finding out the good things in option A. But this is human tendency and that I landed up with the faults with option A. So avoid that. Okay, just in case to land on the right answer, first find out anything good in this. I don't find anything good in this. I actually find that the information is lacking here. I don't see which kind of employees are getting replaced here. So I'll not go in favor of A. Then I'll come back to B. When senior employees were assigned to lead challenging but critical positions, they resigned. Now, is it not providing you an evidence that yes, look, when we asked them to do certain difficult tasks, they themselves resigned, and now you are telling that there is no job security and we don't have respect for elders? Wow, gives me a perfect reason, and I therefore get a positive point about B. Let's see for C. The senior employees were replaced by the people below them and not from outside the organization. I am not getting anything correct here, or not getting any correct vibes or correct answers from here. So I will just directly state you this, that this is out of scope. Why is it out of scope? Because we are not talking about being replaced by the inner body or the outer body. Now, when it comes to option D, the replaced senior employees had only 4 more years of service and were not compensated. This is again going in the opposite direction. If this statement number D is true, then this will not lead to an evidence that whatever these people were saying about job security and respect for the elders would be misleading. It will rather be an evidence that what they told was actually correct. So option D is completely out of the game. Now we talk about E. The number of senior employees voluntarily leaving this organization is lower than the industry average. Now, number of senior employees leaving this organization is lower than the industry average has some weightage, has some positive points that okay, whatever is happening in the industry, in our industry, it's happening less. So there is positive. But now I am stuck between what? I am stuck between option a, B, and E. So I'll start finding faults. For A, I already told you one of the faults, that the information is missing. So there's less information. We don't know which employees are we replacing here. So I can eliminate A on that basis. And when I talk about E, okay, look, the answer is B, right? So you would have found it out before doing all this note making. So the answer is B, but what is the problem with E? Try to search deliberate problem so that you will come across what would have been the viewpoint of the person who made this question. So the number of senior employees voluntarily leaving this organization is lower than the industry average is actually irrelevant to the information provided to Sudarshan. They are not making comparisons with the industry here. Rather, they are trying to say that जितने भी जा रहे हैं, whatever number is leaving the industry is leaving because of job security problem or no respect for the elder problem. तो जितने भी जा रहे हैं, they are the matter of concern, not कितने जा रहे हैं या whatever is the comparison with the industry. So that eliminates option E and thus leads to the answer as option B. That will be the optimum solution. But how will you frame it in your notes? You will frame it in your notes stating that the condition over here, that when this kind of challenging activities are done, they themselves are leaving. Okay, they themselves are leaving. You will write it down and don't go by my handwriting. I'm just scribbling. Okay. So that's how you will make a note, so that now in future I tell you about a company ABC which is performing, and the problem here is that J like again the same thing, that there is no security, and there is no, so instead of job security they will come with two more terms related to your business. Okay, so over here you would find that the same solution will be applicable, that when they were asked to do something they were not able to do that thing. And we'll take a last question from the same set, that Chaganlal Jha, the CEO, was certain that someone is in his leadership team was leaking information. Guys, be very specific about these terms in the DM sets. Leaking information to Sudarshan Lal well before Chagan Lal communicated. So, given the following options, how best should Chagan Lal Jha respond to this situation? Well, to be very clear about this point, let me tell you very clearly that here the problem is leaking information. So, remember, don't deviate yourself from the problem, because one of the options will tend to deviate you from it. So what are you going to do? You are going to take option A, read it, find good things about it. Chaganlal should request Sudarshan to kindly wait for him to communicate, as informal sources may lead to information. See, whenever you have as, because, things like that, half of the answer gains some weightage, because whatever you're speaking has some evidence, has some reasons attached to it. When it comes to option B, okay, Chaganlal should complain about this to Sudarshan and threaten to resign. Well, the words complain and threaten are actually quite illogical, because here you should work as a CEO, not as a entry level employee who keeps on complaining to his managers or threatening that I will leave, and things like that. So keep that in mind. This will quickly help us to eliminate option B. So you can give a reason. Always write a reason beside your notes. Okay, that I eliminated option B because of the words threaten and complain. This will help you to always highlight these things in the coming question paper also. Option C problem was Chaganlal should request his team to continue passing the information since it brings down the communication barrier. Now, let me very nicely tell you about this thing, that leaking information was the problem here. You cannot deviate from the problem. You cannot say that you are passing the information, so it's good that ab mujhe kuch nahi bolna padega. This is absolutely going out of scope. So you are not going to take option C. See, I came here for good things, but I found bad things, so why will I keep it here? I'll eliminate it, go away. Option D, Chaganlal should understand that this is bound to happen and should not bother. Well, this is a practical scenario. Let me tell you, in the offices, it does happen, and many of you might have some soft corner for option D as well. I totally believe you. But here, what is the good thing about it compared to option A? The good thing about is that you are letting things happen on its own. Hmm? Now we'll compare A and D, don't worry. Option E, Chagalal should threaten his team. Why are you eliminating option E? I know everyone would have spoken it once during watching this video. Threaten. Threaten his team member, that one of them will be fired by the weekend if this practice of passing information doesn't stop immediately. Again, a practically applied process. People do this not only in offices but in schools and colleges also. That if no one tells me who made the noise, I will make the entire class stand on the bench. Okay, so this is a general practice, but not an ethical practice. Number one. Number two, this kind of an action will not yield you the correct result. Is there a result coming out of it, that the person who was actually leaking the information will come out and say, please don't do it, please don't do it? No, that's not going to happen 100%. There's no 100% evidence of happening. So therefore, option E is also out. Now, when we are left with two options, A and D, we will try to have a closer look on both of them and start finding faults with them. So option A, I really can't get any fault here. Of course, the only demerit I see here is that, okay, this is just a request which I am doing to Sudarshan, that please don't listen to other people. But this eventually will not lead to a confirmation that, okay, that he will not listen. अगर कोई आके Sudarshan को बोलेगा, he will still listen to the fact, and maybe that will affect his decisions in future. But when I talk about option D, there's no action, guys. There's simply no action. You see, we are letting things happen just on its own. And if you leave things on autopilot, jo hoga dekha jayega mode, then you are not a good manager, because you are appointed for doing, implementing these actions and making things happen, which are more probable to happen. So therefore, leaving things on the autopilot is not considered to be the most perfect answer. And therefore, we'll go with A as the answer. So, jitna bhi maine bola, you are actually supposed to write it down as note that I eliminated option D because it is taking us in the autopilot mode. I'm eliminating option B because of the words complain and threaten. I'm eliminating option C because this is out of the scope. It's going opposite to leaking information. And I eliminated option E because threatening and one of them, and this never leads to the point that one who was actually passing the information will be fired. So these are the reasons why I eliminated it. Okay, that's as cool as what I said right now. So A is the answer, and you will write down that your optimum solution was A. That how it was A, that communicating in and leading and telling him that this will lead to misinformation is the most appropriate step over here. So just like this, you actually solved three different scenarios in a particular case and three different problems, and now you have a note where you have that अगर ऐसा होता है तो ऐसा करना है, अगर ऐसा होता है तो ऐसा करना है. And with this note, you also have one fact that which options are getting eliminated, why are they getting eliminated. You can also eliminate similar options in your real question paper. So that's all for this video, guys. I hope you all like this video. I'll be coming up with more such videos, but then you have to do two things from your end. If you are new to the channel, you have to subscribe to the channel, and if you are already a part of this channel, then like, share, and share with more and more people. Okay, sharing is very, very important here because I want to reach more number of people and communicate these informations to them as well. So see you in the next video. Till then, take care of yourself and keep hustling. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much.